Welcome to the examination-based conduct session. The subject is Learner Support School Readiness, Diversity and Multi-Grade Teaching. The subject code is CEC Srdm11 Year 1, Semester 1. Dear students, welcome to the presentation of 2020 examination. There is only one presentation for the whole year. You might wonder why the presentation is so long. My name is Ms. Matilde Kauliholelwe-Shihepo. This presentation will guide you in your preparation for the examination for this subject. It is important to point out the most important points. First, work through your study guide with care and diligence. Do all the learning activities in the study guide and then check the answers given at the end of each module. If you have not understood the study guide and its content, you may have difficulty with the preparation for the exam. You must understand each unit in depth. The following is important information for your examination. Examination format. The duration is 2 hours with 100 marks. The exam scripts consist out of 5 questions each. It is important that you answer all questions, but there will be optional questions where you need to choose. The study material that you can use is the study guide, Iol study guide, and the Kindle for those that have the Kindle. Understanding the questions, every part of information can be assessed in a number of different ways. Questions such as explain. When you ask to explain, you must describe something and indicate the relationship between the things. List. List is you should present a list of facts in a certain order. To define, you should give the precise meaning of something based on the concepts. Discuss, you should give a clear description by pointing out positive and negative features. Tabulate, you should arrange points in a table format. To describe, you should provide detailed features of an issue or stages of a process in a logical sequence. To evaluate, the making of a judgment of points to be discussed. The examination cover page. It is very important that under the student's details, the following information must be filled in. Your student number, your surname, the first name, ID number, and examination center. So you have to write all those things. They are very much important. The instructions. Read the general instruction and examination instructions carefully and ensure that you know what is expected before you start. Do not just start writing the exam before you did not read the instruction. It is very important because instruction is always telling you what you should do and what not to do. You are not permitted to take any form of notes into the examination room. Plan your time wisely and write as quickly, as neatly as you can. Make sure that you watch the time to ensure that you finish on time. if time permits, read through your answers to correct possible mistakes, because sometimes you might be in a hurry, and then it will be that maybe you will skip some of the things or some of the facts. So now if you make that time, so it can really help you and to gain more marks. Very important. Write your answer on the lines provided in the question paper. The question papers, there's always lines that are provided there. So the quantity of lines given will also help you to determine the length of your answers. Also look at the marks allocated to each question to determine how many facts to write to obtain the correct marks. Because some mistakes that students are doing is you don't really look at the marks, and so which means that instead of only writing 2 or 3 things, for example, you will write the whole page, and that space is not even enough, and it's now where you end up going to the next page, or you will just always make a note there and say, look at the back of the paper. So it's very important for you to look at the marks allocated for the question. Write neat and legible work. So neatly and legible work, this will help you to gain more marks even. Now let's go to our study guide. Unit 1. Unit 1 is about the basic features of learning support. So now this, you have to look at these points that I'm going to mention here now. 1.1. Know the signs and areas of difficulty in learner behavior when dominance is not established. 1.2. Know the difference between remedial teaching and learning support in a table format. Here it's now in 1.2 is you should draw a line, and then at the one side you write remedial teaching, and at the other side you write learning support, and then you write the differences there. 1.3, know the features and application of some useful teaching methods for multi-grade teaching. So which methods are you going to use in a multi-grade classroom? 1.4, you should know some learning styles, features, and their related teaching activities that provide learning support. 1.5, an outline of activities for developing abilities of crossing the midline. What are the activities? So it's very important. 1.6, the different concepts of dominance. So what are the different concepts of dominance? 1.7, know the 6 areas of inclusive classrooms which address diversity. 1.8, know the features of the left and right brain dominant learner. So that is, those are the important things that you should know in Unit 1. Then we go over to Unit 2. Unit 2 is about the need for and features of particular activities of learning. 2.1 is know how the school curriculum and classroom teaching can create learning support needs. 2.2, know the World Health Organization's definitions of impairment, disability, and a handicap, and how these barriers create a need for learning support. So here what you should do is You should know the definition of the impairment, disability, and a handicap. And then after when you give the definition of that, you should now know how you should assist those specific learners. So that is to assist is now the learning support that we are talking about. 2.3 know the signs of sexual abuse. So how will you identify that this specific child or specific learner is sexually abused? So just by looking at the child, there are some signs that you will see. So that is the sexual abuse. 2.4 know the characteristic of an intellectually gifted child. So if a child is intellectually gifted in the classroom, how will you know? How will you identify this child? So that is the characteristics. 2.5 know the correlation of the early education syllabus aims with the readiness areas. As a syllabus, it is now that we are following, because every grade there is something that you have follow. So now you have to follow syllabus. What is it expected from you as a teacher to follow for the learners to know for each grade? 2.6 know the warning signs of all the possible learning support needs of learners. So 2.7 know the types of seizures, their characteristics, and what steps you should take in the event of such as seizure. I'm sorry. So here, when we're talking about seizures, we have different types of seizures. Now, with these seizures, you will see that if a child is doing this, then this child, I should help this child in such a certain way. So you should know the seizure and their characteristics. That if a child, the characteristics is when you see, for instance, the child fell and maybe is biting the tongue, then so that is the characteristic. And then the step, what you should do, how should you help this child in order for the child not to hurt him or herself. So 2.2 know the syllables. So some of the things, these things is just in your study guide. So 2.9 know how teachers can promote positive racial attitudes among learners. So you as a teacher, you are playing a very, very big role in among the learners. Now, as you are sitting with different groups, different learners from different backgrounds, you should know how to promote positive attitude among them, for them not to be racial. 2.10 know the characteristics of an intellectually gifted learners. So that is all that you know, that you must know in Unit 2. So those are the very important things that you should know. Then we go over to Unit 3. Unit 3 is about the theory and activities of school readiness for pre-primary learners. Know how teachers can promote positive racial attitudes among learners. That is coming again. Know the 6 areas of inclusive classrooms which address diversity. 3.3, know activities to develop cross-motor skills. Which activities are you going to use with the learners in order for the learners to develop the cross-motor skills? There are different activities. So those activities are the ones that you should know. 3.4, know how to develop learners' phonetic awareness. So as we know, those learners are beginners and then they don't even know anything. So now how can you develop their phonetic awareness? So it's very important. Know how teachers should promote positive racial attitudes among learners. It comes in again. Know the pre-literacy skills. What are the pre-literacy skills? 3.7, know the activities to develop the cross-motor skills. So that is all that you must know under the Unit 3. Then we go over to Unit 4. Now Unit 4 is about the relevant theory and its application in order to address diversity in classroom. 4.1, know the differentiation strategies. So, okay, some of these things are just straightforward. You'll find it as it is in the books. So it's very, very easy to find. 4.2, you should know the major types of adaptations for lessons. So there are 9. You should know all of them. 4.3, know 4.4, know how teachers should promote positive racial attitudes among teachers. So now, first it was the positive racial among learners, and now it's now teachers to teachers. So how should you promote positive racial attitudes among teachers? So as a teacher. 4.5, know the features of positive behavior management. So what are the positive behavior management? Know the concept of multigrade teaching and the different names for it. So here for the concept multigrade teaching. Now what is multigrade teaching? Multigrade teaching is when you teach 2 grades in the same class. For example, you take grade 1 and grade 2, and then you teach them together. And or grade 3 and 4, you teach them together. Just you, one teacher, you teach that class the same time. So that is what we mean by multi-grade teaching. 4.7, know the characteristics of the 3 types of epileptic seizures and what should not be done in each case when rendering support. So here, when you see that a certain learner is an epileptic learner, there are things that you should not do as a teacher. So, or the other learners that they must not do. So these are the things that you should know. So that is all about Unit 4. So But okay, there are a lot of things, but I just want you to focus on these things that I just mentioned now. Then we come over to Unit 5. Unit 5 is about theoretical aspects and practical activities of multi-grade teaching. So, theoretical aspects and practical. So, it is the part of theory and practice. Okay, now in a multi-grade teaching. 5.1 is you should know the characteristic of a multi-grade and mono-grade class. As I said, the multi-grade is when you teach two grades together. For example, grade 2 and grade 3 together, you mix and then you teach it. And this is mostly in remote areas where learners are few. And then mono-grade class. Mono-grade class is only one class, like for instance a grade 1 class only, or a grade 2 or a grade 3. So that is mono-grade class. And so now you should know the characteristic of both. 5.2, know how to overcome the disadvantages, challenges of multi-grade classes. So the multi-grade classes as challenges. So there's disadvantages. So you should know. So when this comes, so how should I overcome these challenges? 5.3, you should know how differentiation strategies and activities can address diverse learning needs. 5.4, know the differentiation teaching and characteristic of teachers who practice differentiation in the classroom. So this is just a straightforward question, very easy to find it also. 5.5, know how teacher reflection contributes to meeting diverse learning needs. So you as a teacher, it is very important. You are an important tool in your class. So now you should know how to reflect or how to contribute to meeting diverse learning needs. So by your attitude, how you react in front of the learners. So this is basically about Unit 5, what you should know. So, and then after there, coming to the conclusion, you now ought to know what is expected from you. After listening to this presentation, you know now what is expected from you, what you should know. So you should mark everything that I just mentioned now in your book. Make sure you know the venue exam will be in and what time it starts. It's very important. Look at the time. You might go there and while the others finish already writing the exam. So by that you will lose out. So consult the Iol office for those details, the venue, the time, and not the subject tutor. So call the office, the Iol office, in order for you to know these things, the time and the venue when you have to start. But then it's always also on the timetable. Should you need help from me, you are welcome to phone me on my mobile number, that is 081 273 9802, or mail me at matildeshepo.gmail.com. so that I can help you in a well-constructive way. Say, for instance, you send me an email and I did not respond to your email. So do not hesitate even to send me an SMS or WhatsApp so that I can help you. Should you have any problem, we can also make arrangement how we can meet so that I can help you. We can meet face to face, and then I can assist you in a well-constructed way. Do not hesitate to call me, please. Okay, now the time that you should contact me, it's 16 hours up to 17 hours. 19 hours. So which means that it is from 4 o'clock up to 7 o'clock that you should contact me in the afternoon, please. I wish you all the best with your examination. So do not hesitate to call me, please. And it is very, very important that you know everything that I just mentioned now. And don't wait for the day of the examination. Say, for instance, it's tomorrow, and then say, I'm only going to start today. There's still a lot of days. Start as earlier as possible because the work is a lot. And there won't be another presentation for the year. This is the only presentation. So which means that for May exam, August exam, so the questions are in here. So study earlier as possible. I thank you.